How long have you been affiliated with the Saline County Striders?
Um, I joined Saline County Striders in February, so about 3 months now.
Cool. Um, what's the longest distance you've ever run?
The longest distance I've run is 13.1 miles, a half marathon um, distance on a training run. I have not run a race, but just on a great feeling Saturday morning, I decided to go for it and did it.
And why did you get into running?
Um, I have run on and off a little bit when I was younger, but I just started 9 months ago, mainly because I lost a lot of weight. Um, Lost weight first, and then decided to try running again um, to see what it would feel like with not not carrying so much extra weight, and found it was much easier than I remembered it.
Do you have a favorite race?
Um, my favorite race is probably the Capital City Classic 10K, which was at the end of March in Little Rock, only because it's the only 10K road race I've done. It was my first one, so I was excited for it. There were a lot of people, I think 1,000 people, all lined up in downtown Little Rock, so all of that was really exciting. Probably my other memorable race is I just did a race in Hot Springs called the Mullet Run. It was kind of fun. Like some people wore a mullet wig um, or had a real one. It was a trail race, so it was the first trail race out in the woods that I've ever done, and it was a lot more hills than I expected. So that was the memorable thing, was um, all the hills. I thought I was going to run them, and after about 2 miles, I didn't run any more hills. So kind of surprised by that, but
Hi, I'm Kenny. I'm from Bryant. I've been with the Striders since 2020.
All right, so that was the second one. So what distance are you currently training for, or what's your longest distance?
I've got a 50-mile race in Colorado in a month, but I'm training for UTMB in August, which is Ultra Trail Mont Blanc in France. It's 106 miles through the Alps. That's like the World Series of trail racing, so that's what I'm excited for.
So what got you into running?
Um, I started when I was a kid. I ran in high school and college, and I had an uncle that was real competitive and would drag me to races. And he was a member of the Striders back in the 80s and 90s. And I would tag along with him, and I wouldn't train. I would DNF like half the time, but it was fun to go out there.
Do you have a favorite race?
I would probably say Athens Big Fort. It's over 16 mountains. It's just a marathon, but it's a trail marathon. I've got a 5.5-inch scar right here from that race. Tripped and fell at mile 22 and a half, and they tried to med flight me out, but I ended up having to hike because it was so remote they couldn't land anywhere to get me out. So that's probably my favorite race.
I'm Lisa from Benton, Arkansas.
And how long have you been affiliated with the Saline County Striders?
7 weeks.
7 weeks. Sound like you started when I did. So you just finished a 5K.
Yes,
So what'd you think about it?
it was the most amazing experience of my life.
Yes, it was. So what is your why?
My why is, well, I thought it was several things. and it was about other people, not me. It was about my husband, my son's wedding, everything but me. And then after my first day of starting with the Striders, I found my why, because I started hearing other people, and I met people, and it was about me. This was my time. And I don't want to call it being selfish, but I've been a mom and a wife for 26 years, and I lost myself. And so now I feel like with the Striders, I have found myself again.
That's good. So that's the only race you've ever done, was the one we just did?
Yes.
So you really don't have any memorable races or running story?
No.
What about a training event? Something that stood out? Encouragement or whatever?
The thing that stood out for me the most was the friendships that I made, the encouragement that I got from others. I was always the last in the pack. My first night, I couldn't do a lap, and then I did a 5K. But it was all with constant encouragement from the new friends I made, people I didn't know. They were all there to support me and get me across that finish line. And I went from one lap to walking a full 3.1 miles.
Sweet.
My name is Pete Ireland. I'm living here in Benton, have been for about 40 years.
It's a long time. So how long have you been affiliated with the Saline County Striders?
I joined the Striders in 1993, and I've been with them ever since.
Cool. So what's the longest distance you've ever run?
A regular race, 100 miles,
Jesus.
and I've done up to 130 in a multi-day race. But that's been a while.
Was that the Barkley Marathon?
No, this a race for the ages.
So what got you into running?
Oh, good question. I was always been a little bit active in there, and I had run a little bit years before, and I was getting in my late 30s and thought I needed to do something to try to stay in shape, basically stay in shape for other things. Running was a means to do that, and it became an end in itself.
Cool. So what was your most favorite race?
Oh, now that's a tough one. Probably the Arkansas Traveler 100.
Cool. Do you have any memorable races or running stories you'd like to share?
Oh, goodness. Been around a long time here. Of course, I've finished 11 100-mile races. And not counting multi-day races, which I've done 100 miles or more in 9 times. But, and a number of 50-mile races. But hard to pick out one. I mean, Pikes Peak Marathon was a good experience. First time I ran it, and I ran it 3 times after that. I've been to Barkley Marathons with a singular lack of success. But, an interesting experience.
My name is Tracy Ward, and I'm from Bryant, Arkansas.
And how long have you been affiliated with the Saline County Striders?
I think 4 or 5 years.
That's cool. What's the longest distance you've ever run?
Ever?
Mm-hmm.
So the Saline County Striders put on a 24-hour race, and I ran 22 the first night, and then I went home and took a nap and woke up and ran. 31 more. But in an official race, I think 33 was the longest.
So what got you into running?
Well, I have a terrible genetic disposition. My whole family battles diabetes and cancer, and I had a grandfather have a heart attack way before my age. My father had kidney cancer and it metastasized to his liver, so I've got terrible, terrible genetics. So I initially started doing aerobics to be healthier in my family. And then when I was in the Navy, just things happened and running was my safe place. So I've been running ever since. Yeah, I ran on the ship. I ran on the flight deck. If the treadmills were full or if the ship was swaying way too much, I would go to the flight deck. But I would run a whole lot of miles on the treadmills.
So what was your favorite race so far?
So I have to be a little bit biased. My favorite race is a race that honors my friend that was murdered while he was running. It's called the Brent Morrison Memorial Run. And it
Cool.
honors his life. He was a very, very genuine person. His life motto was living the dream. And he was just out for a run one morning and accidentally got shot.
Are there any memorable races or running stories you'd like to share?
I feel like every single race has a memory. The most memorable races to me are the hardest ones. The ones where you have to pull over to the trees and you get violently ill or you fall really hard and crash and burn. But if I was going on good memory alone, it would probably be St. Jude, running through all the little children that are out in their wheelchairs with their parents saying thank you because it supports their child's surgery and cancer treatment. And other than that one, the Oklahoma Memorial, it's for the bombing victims. And the very last mile, they have a picture of every victim that went through that bombing and didn't survive. And it's very, very, both of them are very, very well organized, and they are for a good cause, so they have my heart. Along with Brent's, and just the good cause just has my heart.
Elizabeth, and where are you from? Bryant. All right. So how long have you been running with your mommy?
How old were you when you started running?
One. And how old are you now? 6. And so how many 5Ks have you run? 7? Dang, that's a lot. So why do you like to run?
Because my first race,
Your first race?
yeah,
And what's so special about that race?
because I fell just in my nose.
You fell and busted your nose.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And got right back up and finished.
Well, that's a trooper. Alrighty. Well, thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right.